Oh, we have our little friend at the back.
Yeah.
Yes, it's on.
Okay.
We're on. We're just gonna do one take.
Okay. You mentioned your work often are taken like during your everyday life, such as on commute or lunch breaks and during your travels, and they capture those mundane, fleeting, or otherwise overlooked moments. And you yourself came up with the title Invisibility.
Yes.
Yeah, so I was wondering if you could talk a bit more about what does the term invisibility or visibility mean to you, especially in the context of urban life, and why is it important for you to explore that in your practice?
I'm interested in just kind of picking out things that either go unnoticed by most people because it's there all the time, so you don't really pay attention to it. Like maybe a person sitting there and just waiting for bus or just waiting for a friend. You know, typically you don't pay attention to it because you don't know that person. So those are interesting to me because I feel like these are the things that are always there, but they seem invisible to us because we are so, on a schedule to get to our next destination. I just try to capture those moments. It's very spontaneous. I don't really have like a specific aesthetics or a theme or style that I want to capture. It's just kind of whatever interests me at the moment. Maybe one example I can use from the exhibition is there's a photo, one of the color prints is two people hugging at a street corner. It was a very intense moment of kind of supporting each other emotionally. And it was taken during the time that we were still under COVID restriction, but toward the end. So it was very rare even to see, two friends hugging in public because we were so used to just, keeping a distance. So that moment happened when I was waiting for traffic light. I had my camera with me. I was doing kind of like my usual walk. And I just saw that moment happening. Usually it's very quick when you're just hugging a friend, for a moment of support. But it just seemed like it was lasting for a long time. Almost like, when two actors were doing a scene on stage. That kind of time frame, like they're trying to deliver the emotion. So it's like unusually long. So that's a good example of things that get unnoticed. Like maybe it's only, I don't know, 3 seconds, but and then people, you see in the background people like walking by and all that, so no one really pay attention to these two people. But yeah, so that's kind of like one example of what capture my attention, and in terms me capturing that invisible moment to make it visible. So
That's a beautiful example. Thank you. I love that photograph too. Especially they were standing at a street corner. Like seems like there's like traffic light and pedestrians passing by. It's a very busy like location, but those two people were standing still, like enjoying their moment. Yeah. How did your practice start and evolve into the way it is today? And how did you navigate in like finding time and space for your creative practice alongside your very demanding full-time job?
Yeah. So I think if people just look at my photos, they would maybe categorize me as a street photographer. But I think for me, it just right now, I'm interested in urban setting. And I'm observing a lot of the things in this kind of environment. So even though the end result or the image appears to be like street photography, but I just feel like my approach, I feel like I'm more just observing. Yeah. So I wouldn't call my travel photos travel photography either, because for me, it's just I'm taking my observation in a different city, Yeah. And then this year so far, I've started to compile a collection of object, black and white photo of object. Like maybe it's a gift from friends or things that I frequently use. So I just start taking them in black and white. I don't know if it's going to become something. I don't know how it's going to evolve, but I feel like the approach of that is the same as my approach to these photos. And that's the reason why I kind of feel like I'm more an observational photographer rather than just a street photographer or a travel photographer.
I remember when we first discussed about adding this video in this exhibition, the video was originally without sound.
Yes. So when I sent you the link to see, because we weren't even sure if we can have a video up in this space, but I just made it so, it's a good archive for myself as well as part of this Invisibility collection. But later on I added audio. It's a compilation of recordings that I collected in different places. It's not super clear that you can actually listen and this is from where, but I think with pairing with the visual will help the viewer experience that. Yeah.
The audio definitely enhanced the viewing experience a lot, and like as a curator, I'm always interested in kind of showing work that showcases the process of the creation. I feel the video piece, in a sense, does that because their juxtaposition of the final frame, the final piece of the photography work, and the moving image you've taken at the moment of capturing that frame. So I feel that really brings the audience into that moment of creation. It also helps kind of demystify the art making process and make the work more approachable. They can see the process, how it's made. I'm wondering if compiling your works into a book is something new for you or for this exhibition, and how do you think your photography work function differently in a book format?
I've always liked books myself. I prefer looking at photos in book format than as a print on the wall, because you can actually get really close to see the details. And also when it's in a book format, I think the creator or the author has to put it in a sequence that narrate the intention behind it. So for me, photography makes the most sense in a book format. It could be in different scale. That's why you always have photo album. Yeah, it's like a compilation of timeline and development and process and all that. If I want to show you 10 photos, instead of bringing you to a space and have 10 of them printed and framed on the wall, I can just give you a book. You can access it at your own time, at the comfort of your home, however you want to. You can keep going back and forth, and yeah.
The book format definitely provides more accessibility, even for people who want to own maybe a piece of your print, but maybe the price point pose a barrier, but they can still purchase a photo book. And I think the kind of tangibility and enjoy it in your own context also speaks to the way how you create your work, because it's very spontaneous. It's to accommodate your work and life schedule, so people can just enjoy the book in whatever way they like, and it creates that intimacy. Instead of through a glass in an art gallery, it's a bit intimidating.
Everyone knows how to approach a book, but not everyone know how to approach something that's framed on the wall. So so that's also circling back to accessibility. I want the viewer to be able to access things at their comfort level as well.
Are there any pieces in the exhibition that hold special meaning for you? Or I guess you talked about that piece with the two people hugging on the street. Or are there any other interesting stories behind the scene of your creation that you'd like to share?
I think one of the photo in the video that was showcased in the video is the front of a Chinese medicinal shop, and this is in Kaohsiung, my hometown, in a traditional street market that my family has very strong connection to. Anyway, I just recently got the news from my aunt saying that shop is closed down because it's been 3 generations and they couldn't pass on to the next generation. So they just made the decision that they have to close the shop. I think that it's very meaningful because when we were there, my aunt's like, do you want to take a picture? She always say, do you want to take a picture of this? Do you want to take a picture of that? And sometimes I'm like, I don't really need to take a picture of, because they know I take pictures. So I think sometimes if they see something interesting, they always say, do you want to take a picture of this? I was like, it's kind of awkward. And then she's like, it's okay, I know the owner. And then so she just like popped in and she's like, can we just quickly take a picture just for like 纪念, like for memory or whatever. And then so I took a picture and I think he was just like, the guy really didn't care. He was just doing his own thing. And I took a picture and I quite liked it at the end. This is a good example. I wanted it to be black and white initially. But when I look at the color, it's just so much better. Yeah, the vibrant like red and blue and just that. In Taiwan, the landscape is very, very colorful. Yeah, I love the photo version of that. The color version of that photo. Yeah, so that is a very memorable photo for me. Yeah, another photo is the one that's featured on the website of the gallery.
I picked that.
Do you want to? I meant to ask you why you picked that.
I was just drawn to it, like among the whole selection, because it has such a strong sense of narrative. It almost looks like a film still. It has that alluring quality of nostalgia.
Yeah.
And you're confused. Is it in a film? Is it like a set, or is it real life? Yeah, it's so interesting.
Yeah, it's a local coffee shop that I really like in Kaohsiung. He was just making coffee for me, and then if I enter into a private space and I wanted to take picture, I usually will ask them, is it okay if I take some photos? And then he's like, yeah, sure. This was the same time he didn't really care if he's in a frame or not. He was just like kind of making coffee and then just staring, into space. Probably just not even thinking about anything. I really like the unconscious and not caring for camera. That kind of, I guess, energy or attitude really attracts me. I don't like to approach people like, can I take a picture of you? Because I feel like then that the subject becomes like, okay, I have to be ready, I have to perform. I just like to catch the off guard or the, not
aware of captured
exactly. Yeah. The coffee shop people saw it on social media, so they were really happy that they got featured on the website. So I think next year when I go to visit, I may bring him like a small print as a thank you for being cool about it. Yeah.
That's so lovely. It's also very lovely to hear about how your family, your aunts, your family in Kaohsiung are so supportive about your art practice. And I also witnessed the community support for you at the day of the opening and the ongoing continuous support from your friend circles. So that was so lovely to witness. And thank you for sharing with us these stories and behind the scene process of your practice. The exhibition is on until June 24th at the Annex Gallery across Richmond Cultural Center, and the Annex building is open from Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Yes. That's a wrap.
Thank you.